whatever it takes to make sure that at the end of the day, like what the other shareholders, Baba mentioned that yes, we've been paying dividend, because if you look at our dividend last year was almost 50% more. So by the grace of God, we'll try and get out of the mess. The biggest mess created was actually the devaluation of the Naira from 460 to 1,400. And you can see almost 97% of the companies in especially in food and beverages businesses, none of them will pay dividend this year for sure. But we will try and get out of it as soon as possible.
Dangote has finally brought a solution to the economy crises in Nigeria. Dear listeners, good news to all Nigerians. The problem of inflation that has plagued the economy will surely be solved, as Dr. Dangote addressed the issue and promised to do his best to solve the problem. Before we get to full details, remember to subscribe to our timely infos so as not to miss our other interesting videos coming next. Let's get what he says. Petrol price cuts may force Nigeria's inflationary pressures down. Nigerian economists and financial analysts say the recent drop in price of premium motor spirit, petrol, upon direct fuel purchase deal between Dangote Refinery and Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria may force inflationary pressures down in the coming months. Former president of the Council of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, Professor Segun Ajibola, and the CEO of SD&D Capital Management, Mr. Idakalo Bolade, disclosed this to Daily Post in separate interviews on Monday. This comes as Nigeria's headline and food inflation climbed for the second consecutive month to 33.88% and 39.16% in October 2024, according to the National Bureau of Statistics' latest Consumer Price Index. On a year-on-year and month-on-month basis, the country's inflation grew by 6.55% and 2.64%, respectively. A further analysis showed that urban and rural inflation stood at 36.38% and 31.59% for the period under review. The development showed the worsening situation the majority of Nigerians faced in the past months, weakening purchasing power. The inflationary pressures are not unconnected with surges in the prices of food items, transportation, pharmaceuticals, energy costs, clothing, and others in Nigeria. CBN's monetary policies can't solve inflationary pressures in Nigeria, Ajibola. Reacting, Ajibola said that monetary policies such as interest rate cost by the Central Bank of Nigeria cannot solve Nigeria's inflationary pressures because they are cost-induced. He stressed that CBN over the years has been tackling inflation with the wrong medicine. Monetary policies cannot solve inflationary problems in Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria has been fighting a battle that it cannot defeat because the country's inflation pressures are cost-induced. It is because of a rise in demand or an increase in money supply. The landing cost of imported items is increasing due to the current exchange rate. Locally, there are pressures from all cost edges. So unless this is tackled, the challenges in Nigeria's inflation will remain, he stated. Private Enterprise, Muda Yusuf, said the continued rise in Nigeria's inflation showed that the country is yet to recover from the shocks of the fuel subsidy removal policy and the Naira floating policy by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government in June 2023. The rise in inflation is an indication that the economy is yet to recover from the shocks of the reforms in exchange rates and fuel prices. Hopefully, with some of the measures being implemented by the government or contemplated under the Economic Stabilization Plan, temporary import duty waivers, and other policies that will be fully implemented, we may see some reduction in the food prices, he noted. Nigerians suffering inflationary pressures for over 10 years, Idakalo slammed CBN. Idakalo, on his part, said the CBN monetary policies such as the interest rate hike, which stood at 27.75% in October 2024, have not impacted the country's inflationary pressures in the past 10 years. The CBN has tried various policies to stem inflation, but several other factors are making inflationary pressures increase. The economy has been experiencing inflationary pressures for the past 10 years, he stated. Fuel price cut, experts speak on Dangote, Ipman deal. Meanwhile, Ajibala and Idakalo agreed that the Dangote petrol and Ipman direct petrol sale deal could be the game changer during the festive period and January next year. The assurance comes as Dangote Refinery and Ipman signed an agreement on the purchase of 60 million liters of fuel weekly. Daily Post reports the price of petrol dropped between N5 and N50, selling around N1060 and N1150 per liter across filling stations in the last few days. Speaking on the development, the renowned economist, Ajibala, said the recent drop in the price of petrol attributed to the Dangote Refinery and Ipman deal may also force inflationary pressures down in the coming months. Good enough, the prices of petrol are reducing now because of the direct PMS purchase agreement between Dangote Refinery and the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. This will have a ripple effect on the cost of doing business in the country, he noted. However, he said the fluctuations in the country's foreign exchange as the naira fell to N1690.37 per dollar at the official FX market have been major impediments for Nigeria because of its dependence on imports. Foreign exchange has been so tough. It is a major cost item that may require time to address. Similarly, the cost of energy, fuel, and electricity will have a major impact on inflationary pressures. Reliance on local production, reduction of import duties for some consumables, we may have gradual improvements during this year if all that has been said is implemented, he stated. Idakalo further told Daily Post that the direct petrol sale deal between Dangote Refinery and Ipman is a welcome development because it will discourage importation of petroleum products and eliminate the cost associated with importation. The federal government concession to sell crude to local refineries in Naira is another way of sourcing the locally refined crude at a lower cost. These measures will go a long way to ease inflation in the long run if it is consistent. Thanks for watching and remember to subscribe to our timely infos for more updates.
Things have gone up by more than 500% and there is no commensurate increase in salaries. Is that not shambles? Imagine earning 50,000 naira salary in 2022. At that time, about 30,000 naira could cover your transportation cost, your grocery shopping, and many other expenditure. In fact, you could save more than 15,000 naira every month towards your house rent and other expenditure. Today, 40,000 naira is not enough for transportation alone, to and fro from work, your house to your office and back every day for 1 month. It's not enough. Is that not shambles? How are you going to make up for the balance? You have to eat while working, you have to go to that work, you have to shop, you have to pay for your house rent, you have to do a lot of expenses. How is this not shambles?
Yes, we know we have the challenge of inflation. It's okay, we will bring it down.
Even the man that brought this suffering that has put Nigeria's economy in shambles, he accepts all the time that Nigerians are suffering. Not just in Brazil, in many fora, he has always accepted that Nigerians are suffering. Only that the suffering is temporal. That after the suffering, Nigerians will now enter into enjoyment. We are not here to say whether it's true or not, whether the enjoyment will materialize, but people try to make it as if Nigerians are not even suffering right now. Political differences aside, Nigerians need to start isolating people who reason this way because it's very, very dangerous. First time in Nigeria's history that dollar billionaires are complaining about Nigeria's failing economy. So you can see it's not only Davido that is complaining or saying that Nigeria's economy is in shambles. If these people that are well-to-do, that are not even affected directly, whether a cup of garri sells for 2,000 naira today, these kind of people can never be affected. They will always have something to eat. How much more people who defend their oppressors despite being in abject poverty?
I can tell you that we're doing whatever it takes to make sure that at the end of the day, like what the other shareholders, Baba mentioned that yes, we've been paying dividend, because if you look at our dividend last year was almost 50% more. So by the grace of God, we'll try and get out of the mess. The biggest mess created was actually the devaluation of the naira from 460 to 1,400, and you can see almost 97% of the companies in especially in food and beverages businesses, none of them will pay dividend this year for sure. But we will try and get out of it as soon as possible.